Hello, welcome back to my channel. My name is Felicia and I'm glad that you're here. Today I decided to do a Q&A for you. So I always get lots of questions about international travel. So I decided to answer the 10 questions that I always get asked. Starting with the first one. How do you decide where to go? So I try to balance high cost countries with low cost countries. So I do my planning generally a year in advance. And by the way, I just put out a video on where I'm going to be traveling in 2026. So if you've not seen that, make sure you go back and do that. So I try to balance high cost and low cost countries in that same year. So my budget's not uh, a lot more expensive in the 1 year period that I'm planning. I also look at places that I've always wanted to see. I've heard about, I've always wanted to visit, and I get ideas from videos on YouTube and blogs of places that'd be cool to see. So that's how I decide where I'm going. My second question is, where should first-time travelers go if you've never traveled internationally? And I would say the UK. I traveled on my first international trip 20 years ago this year to Scotland. And boy, was it a wonderful trip. So I would advise you to go to England or Scotland or Ireland or all three. The transportation's easy, they speak English, and it's a great first trip. That's where I would advise that you go. Question number 3. What are your favorite countries? So number 1 country would be Italy because of the food and the gelato and the wine and of course all the sights. My second favorite country would be Scotland because of the castles and the lochs and the hills. My third favorite country is Germany. The Christmas markets are fantastic, the castles, the history, and of course the beer. And my fourth country is Romania. The people are friendly, they've got cool medieval towns. It's inexpensive or less inexpensive than other European countries, and there's less tourists there. So that's my 1 through 4, my 4 places that are my favorite. So I hope they'll be your favorite too. The fourth question is, how many U.S. states do you have left in the 50 states? I have 8 U.S. states left that I have not seen. They are North Dakota, Kansas, Wisconsin, Michigan, Mississippi, Indiana, Ohio, and Alaska. And yes, I have plans to go and see all of those because I would love to see all 50 U.S. states. Number 5, how do you find your hotels? Well, I've tried Airbnb, and although I don't mind staying in Airbnb when I'm staying with other people, I would prefer hotels just because I feel safer. So I get all of my hotels through booking.com, and in fact they have a free loyalty program. So if you sign up for their loyalty program, you get Genius Level 1, gets you 10% off of your hotels. Genius Level 2, once you have 5 bookings and 2 years, you get 15% off and free breakfast in some of your locations. And Genius Level 3, which is where I'm at, you get 20% off, and that's after 15 bookings and 2 years. You also can get free room upgrades and free breakfast. So that's where I would advise you to book your hotels, booking.com. Number 6, how do you go on solo trips? Aren't you scared and do you like being by yourself? Yes, I do like being by myself actually, but you do get lonely when you go by yourself. But I'm not going to not travel because I'm waiting on somebody else to travel. So you start slow. Just go for maybe a long weekend somewhere, and then maybe go to a UK country like I talked about earlier. And then last, you just got to go. You just got to say, I don't care if nobody's going to go with me, I'm going to go. You can always book group trips also, and group trips do help. You figure out, you have other people to talk to. You have a tour manager who's taking care of all the details. So it's a good way to solo travel or travel in general when you want everything planned. I do like a combination of solo trips and group travel, and I try to mix both of them together, even in one single trip. So you get the best of both worlds. I'll get it out in a minute. The seventh question is, what do you do about currency, foreign currency? Well, I get my foreign currency through the bank if possible, although there are some countries that you cannot get currency through your bank and you're going to have to wait till you get there. So if you do need to get currency when you're on a trip, use an ATM, and I find it's best not to use the ATM that's in the airport. That has the highest conversion rate. They're going to charge you the most to transfer your currency. So find an ATM that is attached to a bank and use that ATM to get your foreign currency. Number 8, question 8, how do you travel in just a carry-on? Well, I do have a packing video, how I packed for 9 days on a U.S. trip, so you can go back and check that out if you'd like. But my first international trip 20 years ago, I had a big suitcase. It was a 30-inch suitcase, and it weighed at least 50 pounds. And after I had to drag that up and down stairs and trying to get it off the conveyor belt, even in the airport, I decided I couldn't travel with that much anymore. So I went down to a 24-inch after that, and then now I'm in a 20-inch. So how do I do that? Well, it's you roll your clothes and you don't pack as many clothes. You wash your things, you hand wash things, you get your hotel to wash things, you go to a laundromat, whatever you have to do. But I find that it's so much easier to get on trains, to go up and down stairs, to be in that hotel, that older hotel that maybe doesn't have an elevator. It's so much easier to travel with a carry-on. The 9th question I have is, what about safety? Well, before I go to a country, I read a lot about that country. I register with the STEP department, the government website, the STEP department. And if you're in another country, I'm sure your country has something similar to that. You can register, and they can let you know about any kind of conflicts or problems going on while you're in the country that you're visiting. So I always do that. I prepare for pickpockets. I've never been pickpocketed, but I do carry a crossbody purse. It's Travelon purse, which it's slash proof, so nobody can cut the straps on it. It has lots of locks and zippers that connect together, so it's very hard for anybody to get into that. I also wear a money belt, so I divide my money and my credit cards. I don't put all my money in my purse. I have some in my money belt under my clothes. That way, if my purse did get stolen, then I have extra credit cards and extra cash in my money belt. So that is just some of the ways. One of the other things I forgot to mention was my phone. So I have a cord that my phone attaches to, and it attaches to my purse. And that way, when I get distracted taking pictures, like you would, then you don't have to worry that somebody's going to grab your phone while you're taking your pictures. I also look at the area before I book my hotel. I don't go out after dark. And if you're really nervous, you could put like a stopper under your door, like a door stop under your door where it can't be opened. And I always keep my suitcase locked when I'm not in my room. So I'll open my suitcase and I'll put in my iPad and my Kindle, and then I'll lock it up, and somebody would have to take my whole suitcase in order to get those things, which is, I mean, somebody could do that, but it hasn't happened so far, and that's what I do. Um, Number 10, the 10th question is, how do you book your flights? Well, I book all my flights through Google Flights. So when I'm thinking about going somewhere, I'll go ahead and search to see what's the average price of flights right now. And then I'll set an alert where Google Flights will send me emails when that price goes up or down. And then I try to get the best possible price by watching it for a couple of months before I book my flights. So that's what I do is I go through Google Flights, and I always book my flights directly through the airline. Now, when you're doing Google Flights, you do have an option to use, Expedia or Travelocity or some other third party to book your flights. But if you had any problems with your flights, cancellations or delays of any type, you wanted to change something, it's so much easier to work with the actual airline rather than trying to get back through that third party to get your refund or change a flight. So always book with the original airline. I have a bonus tip for you, number 11. Make sure you always get travel insurance when you go on any trip. You can have canceled flights, delayed flights, you can miss a tour, you can have medical issues, and I've had all those things happen in the last couple of years. And I would have lost thousands of dollars if I had not had travel insurance. So make sure that you get travel insurance before you go anywhere on a long trip and spend all your hard-earned money and then maybe not possibly get it back. So that's the bonus tip number 11. So I hope you've enjoyed the Q&A on my most asked questions. If you have any other questions that you would like, please put them in the comments section below and I'll be glad to answer those for you. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you soon. Goodbye.